Okay, hi girls. What I'm doing now is I'm going to show you at least the first phase of us trying to get these offers in. Um, it is pretty complicated to try to get everything automated, but I have it mostly worked out. There'll be a couple changes as we move forward, but the general gist of it should be working now. So you'll notice in our leads workspace, things are a little bit different because I've split up the wholesale offers and the master leads offers. And the reason for that is just really for ease of use. What I'm probably going to end up doing, which I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, is pulling out the MLS offers, the listed properties somehow that Terry's recording, because what I had to do in order for him to be able to start moving forward with getting us these offers out is to modify the template to make it appropriate for the information that he needs to convey for these MLS offers. So he really wants the date added to be put in so we can be sorting these by date and seeing who we need to revisit, who we don't. And we added the Maris ID, the buyer name, the offer price. The trigger for this is going to be when he clicks either Baltimore City or Baltimore County. That is going to create a new item in a workspace that I created. So the new workspace is called Offers. And right now I'm the only one in it because I've been working on this for a while. Once we go into Baltimore City offers, say he hit Baltimore City. Okay, he's inputting as we speak. So he had put in 608 Rose Street in Baltimore. So there's a couple things that will need to happen. It looks like there's a repeat of information that I will need to sort of put the brakes on, but that's okay. So we have 608 Rose Street in Baltimore. Um, what I'll need to do is, first of all, I'm going to send you a blank Baltimore City purchase contract and a blank Baltimore County purchase contract. They're almost the same, but there are a couple differences, and depending on what you're doing, you need to have different paperwork. They are pre-signed, so that'll make it easier so you can just act as my coordinator. And submit the offers right away. Some of the short sales and REO, some of the short sales and foreclosures will require another signature, and that's not a big deal, but this is just for us to kind of get things moving. And so this is kind of where Terry's business and my business collide, and you'll be acting sort of for both of us because he's submitting the offers through me, and you will be acting as our transaction coordinators. Hopefully that'll make more sense soon. So again, this is one of the properties that he put in, 608 Rose Street, Baltimore. So I'll give you my login information to PDF Escape, and this is an example of the Baltimore City contract. You'll see it's 25 pages long. Awesome. And I'll also need to go into Maris and pull up this listing because there's some information off of the listing that I am going to need as well. So I asked him to put the Maris ID in because it'll make it a lot easier and a lot quicker for us to find the property on Maris. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully quickly log in here. There are a lot of steps to this, but once you do it, it's not hard. It just is kind of time consuming at the beginning. So I'm going to go into Matrix. And let's see, I'm going to search. Oh, wait, even better. I forgot they added something. So instead of going all the way to here, and kind of going through all of this like you would have before to look up a house. Okay, you can just enter the MLS number here and hit go. Which would be great if that option worked. Okay. All right, so if that's not working, so we would need 608 Rose Street, so Okay, once I click on 608 Rose Street, I don't know why that didn't work. Oh well. I'm going to go ahead because I'll need some of this information. It's a standard contract, which is great because that means that it's a little bit more straightforward. We have a little more access to the decision makers, whereas with short sales and foreclosures, there's a couple more middlemen and things tend to be a lot slower. When you go into the listing, for almost all standard sales, and again, it says standard right here, there will be additional documents that you need to download. And these are the disclosures and disclaimers. So any information about lead paint, any information about, you know, any issues with the property would all be held here. So I'm going to download those. Okay, and then like I said, we'll be in PDF Escape. Once I've downloaded those materials, I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom of my contract. You'll see they're pre-signed. I'm going to go to Page and Append, and I'm going to add the documents that I just downloaded in there because I'll have to do something with those later. Okay, so now my contract is in PDF Escape. I have downloaded the necessary documents that I need. The other information you're going to need from the listing is the type of ownership, which I'll get to in a second, and you'll need the listing agent's information and the broker's information all right here. Okay, so if we go back to Podio, and again, you see you kind of jump around a little bit. They put the buyer's name that they want. You can find the seller's name on the listing, or what a lot of times it'll say is owner of record, or it'll say something like could be you or something like that. If there is no owner listed here, then I would just say owner of record. But since there is, what we're going to go ahead and do is start getting this offer started. So unless we tell you otherwise, the offer date is always going to be the date that you receive it. So this would be 3/30/2015. The text on here is a little quirky, so oops, that would be interesting. So you might, that'll just take a little getting used to. I had copied that from the other piece. The buyer information, again, you can get from Podio. So 608 Rose LLC, that would be that'll be an LLC that they'll create if this is accepted. So you have those pieces of information, and that's going to go at the top of most pages. Okay, so seller does sell to buyer and buyer the following property. So this is where you put the property address. And then you write Baltimore, Maryland, and then the zip. So what I usually do is just go to the listing. I try to copy and paste wherever I can just to save time. It doesn't really matter if if some stuff is capitals and some isn't. It's not the end of the world. And then I know this is 21224. Now the next piece. The property is being conveyed in fee simple or subject to annual ground rent. That's what I kind of pointed out before. It'll say here, ownership fee simple. And we'll have to revisit that again. So you just put an X there. And if it's fee simple, you don't have to worry about the rest of number 5. Then we put the purchase price. They wanted to buy it for $80,000. So you write it in, and then you put the numeric piece there, then a deposit by way of check by $1,000. That'll be the case always unless I tell you otherwise. The title company is already in there. 30 days from contract acceptance is already in there. And as we scroll down, you see he's already initialed everything. So all of that is in there. So we scroll down, I believe it's one more page. Okay. We don't have his initials there. This isn't the most updated one. I'll make sure I get you that one, but everything else will be pretty much the same. Wherever there's a signature, you always need to make sure that there's a date next to it. The buyer's name and address. Will be the LLC name. And then the address for now that we'll be using will be our mailing address. And again, you know, I just have to kind of click out and click back in sometimes to make sure that the information, you know, just to make sure that everything is lined up. You don't need to have the seller's name and mailing address. My information is already in there. You'll need to fill out this information for the listing agent. That can be found on the listing. So if you scroll down to the bottom, again, this is so we'll do a bunch of copy and pasting. So Coldwell Banker, that's the listing broker. So the person's name doesn't go there, the actual broker, the branch office, that's the sort of the, yeah, that's the broker code. So I'll just copy and paste that. Office phone, you know, I'm fairly certain that you guys can handle this, but I'm filling this out anyway, so I will just keep going. We won't know the broker agent MLS ID, so you can leave that blank. And the sales associate, now that's where the actual listing agent's name goes. To get the listing agent's email, what you'll have to do is click on it, and then whatever email server you use will pop up, and just copy and paste it in there, and that's just helpful because you'll need it later when you're submitting anyway. And then the cell phone number of the agent. Okay, so scrolling down. Now again, like I said, all of this information will be the same as you know, everything else. 608 Rose Street. For here, owners of record. Oops. And again, you don't really have to worry about what these contracts are saying. That's my job. You just want to make sure that the tops of everything are filled out, that everything is dated. I'm just trying to go through this quickly to see if there's anything that, you know, would kind of pop up. So buyers. Jeez. All right. This is actually a duplicate, so I'm going to take this out. You can copy and paste if you want, but again, that's initialed already. And this is going to cut off in a second, and I'm going to finish this up so you can actually see it as well.